All right, welcome back, everybody. Let's look at example 9 and 10. Inequalities are back. We introed this on a few days ago with those big sign charts. Remember, we put in our key points, and then we plugged in our stuff. We're doing it again. Okay, so we're going to do this exact same way that we did those. So if you didn't understand it then, maybe we'll understand it now. Let's find our key points, or our key intervals. So what should I always do whenever I see one of these? Factor it and simplify, right? What's the bottom factor into? Now I'm going to pretend, it says solve it with the graph. Oh, that'll be a lot easier. But I'm going to show you how to do it with the graph and how to do it if you aren't given a graph. Sound good? So what are my key points here? I have an x-intercept at what? 2? 2, 0. Does that match? Good. And then I have 2 vertical asymptotes, right? At x equals 3. And does that match our graph? Yeah. Now, what else do I need to know? Perhaps.
Maybe like
for not this one, we don't need a y-intercept because I don't care about increasing, decreasing. Would horizontal help me out a little bit? Yeah, let's find it. Why not? Because the top power is smaller than the bottom, right? And does that match our graph? Ooh, it's one of the ones that crosses it. All right. So now what's neat about having an asymptote at 0, though, if one of our parts is below the asymptote, we know it won't get over it, right? And if one's above it, it won't go below it. So we'll know where it's positive and negative. So these are going to be my 3 key points I'm going to test point. Now I could look at the graph and figure it out, but I want to show you if I don't have the graph. So I'm going to do -3. I'm going to do 2. I'm going to do -3. Okay. Oh no, that was my marker. Hit it. Yeah, I'm not. It was lag, but Moby lag, brain lag. All right. So, what point can I plug into this? Let's plug in -4. When I plug -4, either equation, it doesn't matter, right? Let's say I plug it into this one. It says, why not? Let's do this. I'm going to plug in -4. When I plug in -4 to this, is it positive or negative? Plug in here, and I plug in here, what's a negative times a negative? So that becomes positive. What's a negative divided by a positive? So when I plug in -4, it's negative. So the other sign chart, we actually went through and found out what the value was. You can do that too, right? But doesn't matter what the value is. No, I just want to know where it is, not what it is. All right. So -4 means we're below the x-axis. Okay. Now I'm looking for where am I above, right? Where am I greater than or equal to 0? Look at me, technology. What's a good number between -3 and 2? 0. When I plug in 0, I get a positive, a negative, and a negative, right? What's a positive times a negative? What's a negative divided by a negative? Does that match our graph? Okay, but we're pretending like it's not there. But if you just had the graph, you would see below 0, above 0, below 0, above 0. Let's try out 2.5. All right, 2.5 plus 3 is positive. 2.5 minus 3 is negative. 2.5 minus 2 is positive. What's a positive times a negative? What's a positive divided by a negative? All right. Does that match what the graph shows us? Okay. So again, do you have to fill out the giant chart we did earlier? No, I was just showing you how it's kind of a way of breaking this down to show we plug it in, get a value. It's negative, it's below. Okay. This is something that's done a lot in calculus, are these. Let's plug in, let's get wild. Let's plug in 1,000. This would be, this would be, this would be. Are you guys sure? I'm positive. Look at them. They're so well learned. Okay. What was the question asking us for? Where is it greater than 0? Now, could I have done this just by looking at the graph? Yeah, but I didn't want to. I wanted to show you that it's this way too. So what's it mean to be bigger than 0? Positive, right? So from -3, bracket or parentheses? Bracket, right? From -3 to 2, and 3 to infinity. Okay. This is cool math. This is the math where you're just plugging stuff in, but it looks cool. Like you can show somebody, like, look at what I can do. Yeah, you can go to your family, go Thanksgiving, and be like, guys, can you do this? And you got that one uncle who can, and then you feel bad. He's like, well, can you do this? And then, yeah. And they're, all right. Whoop, whoop. All right. Is that everything we need to know? Let's look at another one. Ooh. Example 10A is a review. We've done this one before, right? Yeah, in like 1-3 or something like that. It's when I first taught you guys sign charts. When we had to factor, plug in the zeros. Well, what are my zeros? We got 1, 2, 4. So what do we do to find out where is it? Well, less than or equal to 0. What am I looking for? Negatives, right? So I'm going to plug in like -10. When I plug in -10, I get a negative, negative, and negative, correct? What's a negative times negative times a negative? Negative. Right? I swear we did this earlier. Okay. Ooh, do you know what would have been better than -10? 0. If 0 is an option, it's an easy one to plug in. So is really big negative numbers. Let's plug in 1.5. So 1.5 minus that is positive, negative, negative. So the whole thing is positive. Yeah, a negative times negative is positive. Ask me if I'm sure. Find the converse, the inverse, contrapositive. Ask me if I'm sure. I'll say I'm positive. All right. When I plug in 3, positive, positive, negative, negative. Look at this go. Look how quick I'm getting with the markers. All right, what about when I plug in how much money I got in Roblox? Is that a thing? All right. So it's a positive, a positive, a positive. So the whole thing is, okay. What's the question want to know? So that would be here and here, agree? Anyone disagree? Through 2 to 4, right? Okay. I don't know. All right. How are we feeling so far? I think the next one will be really beneficial because this is the one that was new on the homework. Some of you guys tried it. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Sorry for the language, guys. Uh-oh. So, yeah. This means nothing to me yet, right? I need to get to 0 so I can test point it. So I need to get to 0. So how do I get this to 0? Subtract the 2 from both sides, right? So I get x plus 1 over x minus 3 minus 2 is less than or equal to 0, right? Okay. But we still can't do it yet. We can't test point it yet. We have to do common denominators. Yeah. What does this have that this doesn't have? Because we need to make it into a rational function. Right now it's not. It's not irrational. It's irrational. Like my wife. No. That's on camera. That's on camera. I'm happy she likes me, I guess. All right. Distribute that through. Agreed? So we get x plus 1 over x minus 3 minus 2x plus 6. Oh, I should. Whatever. Right?
Yes.
Can I combine the tops now?
Yeah.
Okay. What's x minus 2x? Negative x. What's 1 plus 6? That doesn't change, right? There we go. Now I got something. We had to do that because I didn't have my zeros or my asymptotes, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have my zeros. So, yeah. So now I can get my, how many key points am I going to have with this? 2, right? So I'm going to have 2 key points. Yep. And the 2 key points are going to be, I have a x-intercept at what? 0, negative 7. No, 7. Yeah, what are you guys talking about, Willis? Because when I plug in 7, it'll be 0, right? And also, I should probably write it correctly, right? Yeah. It's my first day here. And my vertical asymptote would be x equals 3, agreed? Yeah. So, I'm going to test point 3 and 7. Okay. What do you want to plug in? Let's do 0. Let's use a different color because it's fun. At school, why not have fun at school once in a while? Whee! Like this. Either one. These two things are the same equation, right? Just don't plug into that one. So I'm gonna plug in 0 up here. So I get a positive and a negative, correct? What's a positive divided by negative? All right, let's plug in. Oh, you wild man. Let's do 5. What's 7 minus 5? It's positive, right? What's 5 minus 3? Positive. What's a positive divided by positive? Positive. And let's plug in a Brazilian. When I plug in 1,000, the top number would be negative, then negative x. And my bottom number would be positive. So the whole thing would be negative. Okay. What I want to know when that's less than or equal to 0, correct? So here and here. Why are all these equal to? Be careful, now homework's gonna be like not equal to. Or not equal to. Yeah. Yeah, I stand by that statement. I resemble that remark. All right. Yes. Yes. It's or equal to. So it can't be 3. I forgot about that. I'm free. Do you guys remember extraneous solutions when you did rational functions? What happens when I plug 3 into this?
It's 0.
Yeah, it can't exist. Your asymptote is always. Your asymptote's going to always end up being a parentheses because it can't actually be it. It should be. You guys try C. Try C. I'm going to end it here. Try C.